Good morning. Everybody, hi. This is Cesar Delgado from Back Roads of Illinois. I do have in here Mr. Gross. Good morning. Mr. Gross, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good morning.
He is an English teacher from Ottawa High School, and he is a deer hunter. It is his favorite thing.
You know me well.
Mr. Gross, why you like to get outside of wood a lot?
Oh, it was something that I have done since I was little. My dad started taking me out and my brother out, and it was just something that we just always did. And even now, I love being out in the woods. I love being outside. Just it's relaxing, and I think that's the biggest thing. It's really relaxing, and it kind of lets me kind of take a breath and just enjoy what's naturally out there.
You did wrote in the magazine article from the year of 2009 about your hunting trip. You could talk to me about it?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm glad you remembered that, because probably one of my favorite things that I've been able to do was I have one published article, and it was in Muzzleloader magazine, and it was about a deer hunt that I had in 2008, 2009, and it tells a lot about my dad, but it was always something I always wanted to be published. So that's definitely one of my things that I'm really proud about. But the bear hunt I had, which I think you're referring to, I went up to Quebec, up in Canada, and we drove 22 hours, which was a long drive. But it was myself and 4 other guys, and we brought, there were 3 other guys, and so of the 4 of us, 2 guys shot bear, and it was Mr. Porter. He was one that shot a bear, and then one of the other guys, he shot a bear with his bow and arrow. I only had 1 chance at a bear, but he came in so late that I couldn't shoot him. So, and if I had my gun, I probably would have been able to shoot him. But since I had my bow and arrow, he was 15 yards away, but it was almost dark, so I couldn't see him good enough to shoot him. But it was pretty awesome. The bugs were just they were just a little bad. That's the one big thing you always have to watch for when you could do a spring hunt. It seems the bugs are always kind of crummy, but it was really cool. It was a little freaky because there were wolves and bears out there, and that kind of got your attention. But I'd love to do it again. But the next time I do it, I'd like to see more bears and have more chances. And I'd also like to have the fishing could be better. The fishing wasn't really good where we went, and it was supposed to be, but it just wasn't. So someday.
Tell me about where was your first time out to deer hunting? You were a little kid.
Yeah. So I grew up in Morris, Illinois, and my dad would always hunt with his buddy Moose. His real name was Dan, but my dad hung out with other guys who hunted and fished and stuff. And we hunted on an island on the Illinois River just west of Morris called Sugar Island. And so we would put the boat in Morris at Stratton Park, and then we'd motor down maybe 10 minutes down the river west, and it was an island that was a mile long, and my brother's 2 years older than me, So my dad, we would drive my brother down to the west end of the island and drop him off. And then my dad and I would drive the boat back to the east end of the island, and we would pull the boat in, and then my dad and I would go sit down on some, just up against a tree or something, you know, to where basically we could see anything coming our way. So when my brother heard the motor stop on the boat, that was his signal to start walking. And he would basically walk real slow, kind of zigzag, to push any deer our way. And so that was the first time that I deer hunted right there. And the funny thing was the most memorable time we had down there was a year, and I don't remember. I think I shot my first deer when I was about 13 or 14. And it was really funny because the deer was running right at me, and deer run like this, you know, they bound. And so I had my 20 gauge shotgun, and I put the sight right on it. But then when I pulled the trigger, instead of shooting him right in the chest, I shot him in the butt because he went like he was doing this, you know. But luckily, so that was my first deer. But the most memorable hunt was my dad would never carry a gun when we would hunt because he always wanted my brother and I to shoot him. So my dad was sitting like right to my left, and I'm right-handed. My dad was left-handed, which is important in this story. And so all of a sudden we saw this buck run through the woods, and it stopped like 30 yards to my left. And so in order for me to shoot, my dad had to lean back. So he's looking at me, I'm to his right, and he just kind of leans back like this and kind of gives me the okay. So I put the gun up and I go, boom! And that deer just kind of flinched, kind of didn't know what was going on. I don't know if the wind was blowing or what, but boy, we had this thing confused. So, boom! Shot at it again. Nothing. I couldn't believe it. My dad at this point was just looking at me like big eyes, you know, like, what in the world are you doing? And so my last shot, because you have the 3 shells in the gun, boom! And again, the deer just kind of did one of those. And it was just standing there. And so my dad's just thinking, man, I couldn't believe I didn't hit the darn thing. Because literally it was standing 30 yards away, broadside. So my dad, he's left-handed, he sticks his hand out like this, kind of like, give me your gun. So I give him the gun, I give him a slug, the bullet, he loads it, and so he's left-handed, and so normally a lefty can only shoot to the right or straight out in front of him, right? He shoots it, he gets the gun up to his right shoulder, he shoots it right-handed. For a lefty, he was just a really good shot. Anyway, boom! And you could tell he hit it, and it ran back into the woods. So we're like, all right. My brother was still walking the island, and so the deer disappears. My brother gets done walking the island. He didn't see the deer dead, which it was. But as we're standing there at the end of the island, like if this were the end of the island, my brother just walked the whole thing, and we're standing there, and just to the south, across the river, we hear boom, boom, boom. And all of a sudden, a deer jumped off the shore, and we're like, "You got to be kidding me!" And it was a really nice deer, big buck. It was a 10-pointer, I think, if I remember correctly. And it's swimming right at us. And so, because of what just had happened, my dad said, "Give me the gun and get behind that tree." My dad didn't want me to. So I got behind the tree, and my brother went up the island a little bit to where he had an angle. So my brother shoots as the deer is coming out of the water, shoots, but he just grazed the front left shoulder. and I'm just peeking around this tree, and because the island, you know, sometimes on the river there's the shore and the islands, they have a little bit of a drop off, you know, on the land, right where the water meets the land. And this island had the same thing. So when you look straight out, you actually couldn't see about 10 feet below. So this deer comes out of the water and I lose sight of it. My dad and I lose sight of it. And all of a sudden that thing jumped up right where we were. And now all of a sudden it's like 15 yards from my dad. And he's got the gun. He shot it right here, and it dropped dead right at our feet. It was nuts. And so, so basically, so the guy who didn't even bring a gun shot 2 deer that day. And so my brother and I put our tags on the deer, and it was awesome. So we did a lot of deer hunting. We did a lot of pheasant and rabbit hunting also when we were little. Rabbit hunting was a ton of fun, but yeah, it just a lot of dads would take their kids to baseball games, or you know, which is a bunch of fun. But what we did was we went out and we hunted, or we went fishing.
Mr. Gross and I, we did a deer hunting. It was pretty amazing by Mother Nature. She could do by the blink of an eye in the crazy weather in the state of Illinois. That's awesome about part of hunting.
Yep. And the first time we went out, I was actually just thinking of that the other day. Just, I think it was yesterday when we went to Starved Rock. And it's funny because the one spot that they put us, I don't think there was a deer within a mile, right? And then last year we had a few deer. Was it 3 deer that you saw? 2 or 3? Yep. And being in the ground blind, you can sit in there and put the heater on, put your feet up. That's nice. So this next year, I think hopefully we can get one close.
This is Cesar Delgado from Back Roads of Illinois. See you next time. Bye.